Missouri coming off a big win against Auburn. Huge thriller there against them last week. Alabama, heartbreaker in Tennessee. The game opened at 13.5 as Alabama favorites, which I thought was already excessive. Alabama now 17.5 point favorites. It almost feels like the winner of this has their playoff hopes in sight. The loser of this game is very well on the brink of elimination. Alabama going on 3 losses, Missouri with 2 at that point should they lose this game. Do you think that is the way this game plays out, where the loser is eliminated from the playoffs?
To call this a playoff elimination game for both teams is disrespectful. Right now, Missouri's only at 1 loss. Bama's at 2. This is an elimination game for Alabama. The reason that is because they're at 2 losses, because of how they've looked the last couple weeks. For Missouri, while they have not looked really any equally impressive, they've been winning games. The expectation for Missouri is not as high, and they have another mulligan to afford in a loss. For Alabama, this is do or die. Because after this week, you got a bye week and you got LSU, but you have to win this game to stay in the race with 3 losses.
Oh, I think it's even bigger than that, staying in the race. I think it's having fans even show up to games if you lose this one. Like if you drop 3 of 4 and, damn near lost to South Carolina, it's some changes are going to have to happen in Alabama. And I think the line represents what people are expecting. In this game, the big question for Alabama is can they get back to the fundamentals? They're not running the ball. The Jalen Moore throwing on the run constantly, feet not set, overthrowing receivers. Defense having a couple mistakes. Last week, even though they held Tennessee back a little bit, most of that was overthrows from the quarterback. Right now, Alabama's just not playing clean ball. They're one of the last teams in the country in penalties for. So you mentioned them not playing well to be eliminated from the playoffs. I think you compile all of that, and right now they don't look like a playoff worthy team.
No. Well, and they're number 15 in the nation, right? So 15 Alabama taking on 21 Missouri, 15. It puts you at 3 spots out of the 12 spots, right? Seeded how you want to seed it. They're on bubble watch. There's a lot of football to go ahead of them. The idea that Alabama's eliminated from the playoffs before November starts seems like a wild dream. A dream for a lot of SEC fans that are not fans of Alabama, probably for Auburn for sure. Auburn fans are dreaming about winning an SEC game, but that's another topic for another preview. But for this game, bringing it back to the keys for Missouri, you win it. You come back from 2 scores with Brady Cook against Auburn. You've played okay football. I think kind of, for Bama, one thing I think about is, do fans expect them to win like A&M did to prove that they are Bama and Bama's back?
I think 2 scores. I think you have to see 2 scores in this game because right now Missouri doesn't look that strong offensively, which is crazy to say with the receiving core that they have. But they're missing their lead rusher, who's one of the best running backs in the SEC. I've seen some people online kind of hating on him, but I think that he is a critical piece to this offense, especially when the receivers and Brady Cook aren't connecting. So in this game, you have Marcus Carroll, who is a great running back, the best backup running back yards wise in the SEC.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be too far back in that. But, if you're an Alabama fan, you do need to see them do it pretty handedly given that situation.
Right. And for Missouri, Brady Cook, super impressive. I talked about it earlier. Let Brady Cook, let my boy Luther spin. What should Missouri be looking to do with Luther Burden to take advantage of this defensive back core that has shown some gaps?
Yeah. I mean, bigger than just the gaps in their play, they have gaps in availability. Keon Saab out for this game. And
out for maybe a couple weeks.
Out for probably a while. Yeah. I mean, playing injured through the last game and going down even harder. There's, other DBs that were limited in the last game, kind of periodically going out. Brady Cook right now, he's not afraid to throw the ball.
Right.
We were wondering that early, taking deep shots. He's thrown 32 balls over 20 yards in the air, only connected on 8 of them. In this game, where Alabama DBs this season have consistently been cooked as far as route running goes, the quarterback hasn't been connecting. Alabama must have, angels in the outfield or something, hitting those balls further downfield. But in this one, if you hit your guys, if you hit Luther Burden and Theo Weiss, because they will be open at times, if you can hit them, that's the key to the game. That running back, whatever, if you can do that, then that's what's going to blow this thing open, because they will be open.
I think so. And when I think about the Missouri game plan, right? Last week when I was watching the game, they threw the ball to Luther Burden over 9 times, right? They're gonna put targets on him. They're gonna put targets on Theo Weist. Marcus Carroll, we talked about, Georgia State transfer running back. He is solid. He was a starting running back last year. I think he's starter quality. I think they have just a committee system there. This offense could give Alabama some trouble. It's looked okay this season. We haven't seen ton of great games from it, since like they beat up on teams like UMass. They beat up on teams like, Buffalo. They put up good points against a Vanderbilt team. And so Vanderbilt's defense is okay. Bama's defense is okay. So I expect this offense to do some damage. The defense is what has not looked as impressive. And they slowed down Auburn last game, but we both know Auburn's strong suit is not offense, right? Peyton Thornton will be putting on a LinkedIn jersey very soon. So that's not that impressive, right? So,
No.
when you think about Alabama's offense and the keys in this game, if we haven't touched on it already, what do you think they are given Missouri's defense and where it ranks today in the SEC?
Fundamentals. You out talent Missouri. If both teams were healthy and playing their best, Alabama wins by the spread for sure. Alabama is a better football team than Missouri, just talent wise around the field. You got a better O-line, run the ball, set your feet, deliver from the pocket. Jalen Milroe, I think, is doing too much. Let's reel it back in and help him deliver clean passes by, if you're him, just sit in the pocket. Your O-line is doing okay. So deliver passes and run the ball. The running backs have been great. They haven't had enough. So let them do their thing.
Yeah. I agree with that, right? Jalen Milroe right now is still top 3 in the SEC in rushing touchdowns. It seems like it's like a fate memory that he was in the Heisman race. We talked about it a little bit earlier, right? The stats look impressive given the front half of the season, but we're going to need to see more from him this game. We talked about what the keys would be for Missouri. Any final keys before we hit the prediction?
Maybe not a final key. I mentioned for Missouri hitting the big playmakers downfield. As I look to my prediction, running back out, Brady Cook probably not playing at 100%, coming, in his hospital return game last week. I don't think right now that Missouri's in a place to deliver on that key for the game. I think the key for the game is hitting Luther Burden and Theo Weist in stride. I don't see that necessarily happening consistent enough in this game. I think Alabama, I'm going to bet on them every week to make that bounce back game. I think this is the week that they do it at home. So I like Alabama in this one.
You like Alabama in this one? So I like Alabama in this one. I do think it's close. I think they give fans more to be happy to watch. I think they'll leave this game feeling satisfied compared to the South Carolina game. I like Alabama 28-14 in this game.
Ooh, okay. I like Alabama to cover. I like Alabama 37-17. Call me crazy. Someone comment the 1-800-GAMBLE number. Whatever they need to do, because maybe I'm crazy over here thinking that they cover, but it's got to happen at some point. And I think this is the game for Alabama.
You're like Nick Saban on College Game Day, picking the Bama game.
I feel like it, man. I feel like I got to ride with them every time. I mean, I will tell you that they have problems, but I do think that there's some point where it will click because they're due
for a game. The spread kind of neutralizes it, right? The over under neutralizes. So you're calling for a big game. I'm calling for a sizable game. If we're watching this game and it's 10-10 at half, I think some Bama fans might be losing their SHIT watching this game. Yeah,
I'll
definitely
be one of them.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to watching it. We'll see what we see, man. The playoff elimination game. You tell us, listeners, do you think this is an elimination game for Bama? You think it's an elimination game for Missouri? Is there enough left on the schedule for either of these teams to recover if they are to lose this game? Let us know, please.